Alright. Hi YouTube, VOD watchers, and anyone just joining the stream. We're back with more Ghost of Tsushima. First thing we're going to do is this village over here. Then from there, I'm not sure what, but I did make very, very good pace. Are we serious? It flew through the boar? We did make very good pace with clearing Act 1 as fast as we did. It only took 2 streams just about. And to be fair, I did record a lot of it beforehand, but even still, we got a lot done the last stream. We got let's say maybe 2% of the start of Act 1, or Act 2 I should say. Kill enemies, or damage enemies with explosive arrows. Problem with them is they are very loud. Also, we're going to start seeing a lot more of that new enemy type, eagles. So that will be an issue. Never mind, apparently no one heard that. Yeah, that very loud explosion did not happen. It did not exist, matter of fact. Apparently no one cares. Oh, the bird counted. Well, we no longer have to use those. Maybe I will use explosive arrows more often then, because I always just assumed that they were so loud there was no way, like, you'd be able to use them in a full, like, not alerting any... Can you shut up? I cannot even hear myself think. Jesus. Okay, now I can actually hear and think clearly. What was I saying? Yeah, I never went out of my way to use explosive arrows, even during, like, combat. Because I just preferred slicing through my enemies with the katana instead. But my reasoning for not using them is because I always just assumed they were far too loud. Like, there would be no way that you could ever get away with using them realistically without alerting the enemy. I suppose I was wrong. And honestly, thankfully so.
Over here!
Yes, yes, yes.
Bless you, Lord Sakai.
Go, and stay safe.
Sorry, just heard a bird, so I was concerned. They usually sneak up on you, too. Well, that could have gone a lot better, but no one knew, so... It's hitting the paper door. Oh my god, it was hitting the door somehow. That was what, because that really should have hit. But apparently not. Hear another bird already. Apparently that guy's in line of sight with somebody. Okay, I already do not like just how many times I reset. Well, I would like to say I did eat and stuff, like I had time to rest before stream, like truly. But I was playing Silk Song prior to this. It was a no damage related video. So, and it was a Phantom I was trying to fight without taking any damage. Suffice to say, I put it off. I just have to hope those guys do not get anywhere near me. See, that is what should have happened that first time, but no.
You're going to be all right.
What a relief. Thank you, Lord Sakai.
You're safe now.
Told them I'd fight.
Oh. 5 arrows, I'll take it. 10. 10 and what? 10 and 2? Yes. The problem with this area is that they will notice, like, the birds' bodies. Unless you do specific things. Like, that guy right there might notice the bird. See, I told you. I am aware. Why is my... Oh, shit. Flick the... Well, that could have been a lot cleaner, but still. At this point, time is of the essence because I have 4 days to beat the rest of this game. 100%.
They could have the key for all I care. Gosaku is a hero from a children's story.
You don't
Right.
believe the armor exists?
Not at all. Take our key and see for yourself, my lord.
Buddy, I have a question. If you really do not believe it, then I must ask, why would they make a key to a lock that does not exist, other than to confuse people, I guess? But even then, why go through all that effort? That would paint a target on your back. It is too bad we cannot skip this cutscene. Then people get on the new God of War games case about unskippable cutscenes. Yeah, sure, you could skip them in New Game Plus, but even still. Was those arrows I just saw? No, supplies. Okay, let me collect some of these bells and stuff. Watch that clear out. Nothing for upgrades available there. Might as well see what the trapper is selling. And apparently we also ran across a rumor.
Can make for you, my lord.
Range, fire, kunai. Honestly,
Only the best for you.
wow.
Worthy of a samurai. Just for you.
Thank you.
And now what?
Their screams. You have to do something, my lord.
What screams? What happened?
First, I heard the Mongol drums, chanting.
This is
When I
the
ran to
Iki
look, what I
DLC.
saw were our people, driven mad, screaming like they were trapped in some kind of nightmare.
Maybe a new Mongol trick.
Mm-hmm.
Where was this?
A small settlement in Akashima, near Drowned Man's Shore.
I'll check on them.
Be careful, my lord.
Yeah, so this is the Iki DLC. In fact, we should see it over here, yep. Now what? Let me go to this one, cut through here. Maybe we will find something. Is this? Oh, this is the one I think it is. It's a very open-ended one that is somewhat annoying to do without alerting any enemies. Without hearing, okay. I might try playing loud then, if that is the case. Because if I cannot see the enemy, I cannot really carefully plan ways to get rid of them all without anyone hearing. That's 4. I hear some dogs too. I suppose Buddy simply does not care. There we go. Okay, that was easy enough. Now I can actually hear.
Over here.
Hold still.
Thank you.
Go. And stay safe.
Once all this is, like... Because this is another Silk Song situation for me. Like, once I get all this Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yote stuff out of the way, which honestly I'm not sure if I'm going to be... Well, I think I'll be able to barely, at the very least, stream like 2 hours of the start of Yote. Tomorrow, well not tomorrow, but on October 2nd. But I have a very important appointment on the 2nd, so... That is why I'm not sure if I will be able to stream it fully that day. I know for like the week after though, I will not be able to really do much with the game because of a important trip. I was hoping that the guy I've been waiting on to call me, I was hoping that he would by now. But brother has just been dragging his feet, I guess.
I can't.
But I also suppose I should not be surprised given where he is from. It is somewhere in the States, by the way, referring to, not outside the country.
Someone, please.
But I would still prefer not to say, so that way you know. Just in case there's some schizo watching back the VOD years later, desperate to find out something about me.
You'll be free soon.
He will not have anything to go off of.
My life is yours.
Find somewhere safe. Be careful.
That was the second hostage. Oop.
Huge we switch.
Okay, that's you done. Okay, apparently that guy would have been able to see me from there. Jin. Okay, I guess he really wanted to do an aerial assassination, I suppose. At least all these villages are getting done very quickly. Whatever.
You're going to be alright.
Alright, that's yet another village done.
We owe you our lives.
Uh-huh.
Take this key to Gosaku's armor. Put it to good use.
Have you ever seen the armor yourself?
We'd never dare look, my lord. We were to keep it safe for someone like you.
Once again, touching on Jin's seeming skepticism. How he is not a superstition. How he's not inherently superstitious despite the time period he lives in. Because the second somebody insinuated that the armor might not exist for one reason or another, whether it be like because of its origins, or quote origins, the method of people knowing of it be from children's folk tales or things of that sort, he then started to question. There's little details, it is little details like that in a lot of the writing for certain characters that are so subtle, but it tells you so much about them as characters in general. Nothing over here. If you were wondering why I'm avoiding this, is because I'm fairly certain, like, some of these question marks are for the, like, access points to the online mode from the in-game map, rather than having to quit out from the menu. And for some reason, I'm not sure why, whenever I reload the game at the very least, like, open it or close it, then open it again, it always resets those locations. Like, I would have to discover them again. Quote, discover, even though I've discovered them Lord knows how many times. Oh joy, this place. Kill 3 enemies without being seen. Lovely. Okay, there's one. Great, he is coming this way. Lol. Chain assassination. Okay. Definitely made a lot of noise just then, somehow not alerting those two. Well, that was not quite how I wanted to do that, but it worked out, so. You guys just are sleeping on the job, huh? I was on line of sight for you, like, there was no way you would not have been able to notice that. Killed your buddy right next to you. I guess brother did not care. Half bow upgrade, lovely.
Be free soon.
Oh, at last. Thank you, Lord Sakai.
Go and stay safe.
Lord Shimura will turn this war around.
What would I need for this? A lot more than what I have. Okay, that would do a lot for me actually, both in reload time, draw speed, stability. I probably should do that. I did not actually pay attention to how much of a stat increase that was. And I have a frog in my throat. Again. Great. Another one of these.
Here, you.
Be silent.
Тэнд байна. Яахлаар бидний хинэн чад. Тэнд нэг юм хөдөлсөн.
That was one of the instances where, depending on how your playstyle evolves over the course of the game, Jin will add comments like that. And depending on how you view it, it could be seen as more malicious, or just him adapting his tactics better. But even then, like, it's clear that's supposed to be based off of more the player's perspective or interpretation of, like, how Jin would say that, whether it be in a much more dark, brutal, malicious tone, or just him being assertive. Lovely. Some of these guys have line of sight that does not make any sense, and then others are gifted with vision from God himself. Wow. It let go too early. I'm going to hope that if he falls over, it puts him behind a tree and no one will see him. Well, this dude's dead. Are you telling me you actually just went over there occasionally to yell at the hostage? That is pathetic.
Hold still.
I thought I'd die here.
Go. Be well.
Ow. For anyone wondering why I said that, do not bother asking, you'll never get the answer. Well, this one sucks for a variety of reasons.
Here, you.
Whatever. Throw it. I swear I got the threefold assassination already. No, you don't. That was the first instance we've seen of an enemy running from us in fear. And just so you know, I prioritize those ones.
Himself. Please, take this key.
if you donned his armor.
Would he? Well, we have 4 keys out of... I do not know how many. Tales of Iki, yeah. Did I not get the... I did, so why is it not working? Am I doing something wrong, or what? Or does the game... Am I soft-locked from that ability now? Because the game believes I have not acquired the skill for one reason or another. Samurai Clan Katana. Funny. Yagita Farmstead. Right. Our legend grows. We are now Avenging Guardian. And we have, what is that, 7 resolve? Yes. And more health. Which means more gooder. I'm tired. I wish I could skip this cutscene. What is this? Charm of Unseen Respite. Smoke bombs restore 25% health. Lovely. I've never used that before in my life, probably never will. I'm surprised there's nothing in this area. I know there's stuff around here, but I am far too lazy to get it. Or, more specifically, go out of my way to look for it. Samurai Clan armor. I'm not sure I care about that, if I'm being honest. Lord Jesus. I always love it when I teleport and then they make me have to jump off a cliff immediately after the fact. For one reason or another. But here we are for this next stealth encounter. Kill an enemy with a sticky bomb, I suppose I could do that. Just have to hope no one hears. That worked out. No one heard, so that is good. Welcome to Stream Gorb. Okay. What is blood doing? Other than getting extremely startled. Be silent. What's funny is now, if I recall correctly, I can actually use kunai as long distance, stealth weapons. Maybe if they were serrated. You've already done Act 2 and 3. Hold on, sorry. What did I title the stream? Because I only did. I'm starting Act 2. At the very end of the stream, I went into Act 2. Yeah. Act 3 is a long ways off. We still have this entire second part of the island that we have not even explored yet because I'm going back and cleaning up. What's this part of the island called? Izuhara. So yeah, we're just starting Act 2. You 100% Silk Song? Yes. You were at Act 3. Yeah, but talking about Ghost of Tsushima. Both Silksong and Ghost of Tsushima use 3-act structures
You're going to be all
to
right.
get through different parts of their story.
My prayers have been
There's
answered.
technically
Find
4
somewhere
acts
safe.
if you count the
Be careful.
DLC. But if we're talking about just like the primary story of the game, it's 3. Right, you definitely see me. Through all those visual obstacles, you definitely see me. Did I miss a hostage? I believe I might have. Or actually, there might be more guys over there. Hope no one sees your body. I mean, no one should. You fell in the tall grass. Can't wait for Silksong DLC. Yeah, but it will be, my guess, it'll probably be 6 months before we get a DLC for it. It's not like Doom, like the Dark Ages, where I can see it getting a DLC a lot faster. Because Doom the Dark Ages has like a full development studio and team behind it to make the work go a lot quicker than it would otherwise. But Silksong is just a 3-man team, so... It will be maybe even the longest I could see it possibly taking, and that's like not accounting if they will just repurpose like a lot of the cut content areas from the game that we did not have before and turn those into DLCs.
Be careful up there.
Which I believe they will, because there's still a lot of like Kickstarter backers that have yet to have their characters integrated into either Hollow Knight or Silksong in some way, shape, or form. So I know for a fact that like the weird sharp guy thing, whatever his name was, the void-like entity with the nose, that thing, that was a Kickstarter backer. I think he was even supposed to be in Hollow Knight, but he was pushed all the way back to Silksong. And he still did not even appear in it. So there's a lot of characters like that that I know for a fact we will be seeing because, you know, Team Cherry made a promise. But then again, a lot of other Kickstarter backer bosses got into the game, like Seth and Carmelita.
Oi! Өнөөхийг чи хардаа!
And a new story area. Yeah, we'll probably get that. But if they're just going to start entirely from scratch for one DLC or another, then it'll probably at most take them a year of development time to make whatever DLC that is. But at the same time, I doubt it'll take that long. Like I said, because I do think they will repurpose, like, cut content for DLC.
Find somewhere safe.
So, at most, it will
careful.
take 6 months before we see a DLC for Silksong. I mean, we're still waiting on the one for Doom the Dark Ages, now I think about it. At least I'm still waiting on it. Well, the coral area, yeah, we probably will get, like... I think Team Cherry will expand a lot more upon the borderline, like, Dream Nail type mechanic that you get with the Needle-In. Of going back into the vivid memories of Farloom's past through Silk. We probably will get areas that we can only access through that specific, like, Needle-In device. Or Needle-In song, I forget what it is called, the one you get from the snails. Just going to walk around this area a bit. Oh yeah, I forgot there's this quest line.
My lord, could I speak with you?
The invaders are gone.
It's not that, my lord. A group of bandits is terrorizing Komoda. They slaughtered my whole family. like animals.
Then I'll hunt them down like animals. Where do they kill your family?
At our home, north of here, on the river.
I'll pick up the bandits' trail there. What's your name?
Saki, my lord.
I will avenge your family, Saki.
Laughing Bandits, or the Laughing Bandits. We'll probably get a lot more bosses using that mechanic as well that you get towards the end of the game. Like, you'll have to go to specific locations and use the needle in. Did you see oh yeah, no, I forgot to do that. Then again, I have been busy doing a lot of other stuff. Just with a lot of with the business trip I have to take soon, that has been keeping me occupied. And then just with the little free time I had earlier this morning, I played some Silksong. I recorded a few no-hit videos.
He tried to fight back.
I did stop at Phantom though, because it would have taken too long with the way I was playing.
A map marking this location. What's it say? And then we can finally be together. This was no random attack.
I also figured out some like I got Silk Dart. I'm still in Act 1 for the playthrough that I'm doing right now. For the Twisted Child ending that I have to stream eventually, but there's a momentum storage tech you can do with the Beast Crest. If you jump and keep holding jump, even if you're on the ground, if you just never let go of the button after you press it once, then what you can do is you could do a charge attack with the Beast Crest, do the little jump that you get with it, charge it again, jump, and then let go, and it keeps the momentum that you would have had from it if you use it on the ground. And I use that to get Silk Dart early. There's a few other ways that you can go about getting Silk Dart early, but I found that to be the easiest and most efficient. After the trip in Yote, Ikashri no hit.
Took everything.
Any idea where they were headed?
Possibly, I'll have to see.
Whatever's left of it.
I'll head there. Can you walk?
I was also trying to figure out ways to get into like the what was it called? The Twisted Thicket? I don't remember. The fireplace. I could probably do it with that storage tech, momentum storage. Also, when Ultra Kill, I don't know. With how busy my life has been, I'll be honest, just asking when insert stream name here will not be helpful because I do not even know. Wisp Thicket, yeah. Really. The only thing I do not like about how the bow works in this game is if you let go of L2 too quickly, it'll also cancel your shot. You can't, there's blockers. I'd have to look at, because I know you can get into the thicket using some sequence breaking stuff. Like, you can get double jump in Act 1 through sequence breaks. And by extension, you can get into the thicket in Act 1 via sequence breaks. There's a bunch of stuff you can do with sequence breaks. Like, I saw a video going into more detail about it, like, apparently, with a bunch of crazy sequence breaks and routes, you can actually just beat the game in, like, 5 bosses. Oh, this is just a random hostage thing. Right in front of The stealth encounter. I was about to say, this seems odd. Really? Problem. But just in general, because of how crazy the movement is and just how much more tools and items and stuff that Hornet has access to compared to the Knight, the sequence break potential in Silksong is way crazier than it ever was in Hollow Knight.
Sakai. But the others. At the fishing village south of your hometown.
Kishibe. I know the place. Is that where they took you?
We were hiding among the fish carcasses when they rode in. Didn't take them long to find us. Please, help the others.
Clan Sakai has protected that village for generations. I won't abandon them now.
I do not even remember what... Oh, that's a camp thing. At least we know where one is. So there's these two things we have to get here, and then once we clear this out, it'll liberate this entire section of Tsushima, and then fill out whatever missing quest things we have to get. It'll make it easier to backtrack, as we will have more direct paths. We will not be just kill 6 enemies without hearing. Well, that sucks. I have to be careful about how I do this. I need to get to an elevated surface of some kind so I can survey the area. This is normal. See, I told you. Okay, there's a guy there. He has line of sight for that. Skyrim is the best fantasy game. I can understand why you would say that. What's funny is I've never personally played Skyrim, but I've heard so many good things about it. And at a certain point, it's hard to just, you know, write it off as, oh, you know, fanfare. Or, overhype. Like, in today's day and age, there's a lot of people who, whenever something's popular to any degree, they love to say, it was, overhyped. Or something like that, or overrated. Really. But then when you ask them what about the thing makes it overrated, they really cannot give you a feasible... There's no way you're seeing me. Well, this worked out. Like, I've heard people call, for example, Hollow Knight overhyped, but then you look deeper into all their quote criticisms, and they're the most nonsensical, misguided, in a lot of instances, flat-out lies made about the game. I've seen like a handful of I would not go as far as say hate videos. There's only one I would ever classify as a hate video that I've ever seen anyone make for Hollow Knight specifically. But a lot of the videos I've seen and the criticisms they give, once you dissect them further, they're either Super Metroid fans who cannot stand the concept of there being a Metroidvania that could either compete with or compare to the original Super Metroid. Or, they just have a distinct inability to actually criticize anything properly, but they pretend like they can. Or like, they pretend like they have a proper understanding of what, makes a good game in that regard. Like, I think I briefly touched upon this in my in my Hollow Knight Steel Soul stream when I was doing that. I believe I brought up the fact that one video I watched, at least the one that stuck out in my mind in the most, was a guy who was basically glazing Super Metroid compared to, like, anytime Hollow Knight did not meet his specifications, he would immediately compare it to Metroid. Or he would try to show Metroid in a better light than Hollow Knight. And here's the thing, Super Metroid is an amazing game to this day, from everything I've seen about it, right? It is just a genuinely one of the best Metroidvanias ever made. Well, considering that Super Metroid, period, or just the Metroid franchise, is one of the things that started the concept of a Metroidvania.
You're going to be alright.
But even still, right? One of the criticisms the guy made was, oh, the music for Hollow Knight does not match the setting for it, which I do not even need to say, well, that's just an objectively bad criticism and why it makes zero sense. Because that would imply that you somehow, someway, have a better idea of what music theme fits better for the land of Hollow Knight and Hollow Nest and just in general than the own, like, creators and developers of the game would. Which, like I said, either that's incredible arrogance and hubris to make a statement like that, or just general stupidity and lack of any form of awareness. But, like, a lot of criticisms he could make, they were double-edged swords, because if you just put even an ounce of thought into them, you'd realize that you could just take them and use them against the game he glazed the entire video, which was Super Metroid. For example, he would be like, oh, Hollow Knight is just a series of long, dark hallways with copy-pasted things in it, which is not true. So, like, the copy-pasted things he's referring to would be, like, the background, what's it called? Like, the background elements, like certain statues, light poles, things like that, right? And he will say, oh, they're just, it's a series of long, dark hallways with copy-pasted assets. And then he would say how, like, oh, every place looks the same. But even for the areas that look similar, like, if you compared, Ancient Basin to the Abyss itself, or even, like, Deepness, there are three distinctly different areas that, yeah, have a lot of visual similarities, but you could tell when you're in one or the other. Despite them being, quote, long, dark hallways with copy-pasted assets. But here's the thing. Even from, like... And I went out of my... Like, I watched a streamer. His name is, Oats and Goats. And he is a Super Metroid speedrunner and streamer. And I've watched a lot of his streams enough to where I'm fairly familiar with just the general look of, Hollow Knight in general. Or not Hollow Knight, sorry, Metroid, Super Metroid. And, like, the way the distinct areas are differentiated from each other. For as, like, great visually Super Metroid is, right?
Thank you, my lord.
Be careful.
There's still a lot of areas where, outside of, you know, once you're in a distinctly new area, Metroid suffers more from that, oh, this is just a long series of dark hallways, or just long series of hallways, right, that look the same or similar to each other. There's more of that in Metroid, Super Metroid, than there is in Hollow Knight. Because even for the areas that look similar, they're distinctly different from each other. Like I said, compare Ancient Basin, Abyss, and Deepness, and you can tell which is which. It's just when they do, like, look visually similar to each other is because you're going into parts of the map where those specific areas start to intersect with each other. Like that one part of Ancient Basin. Specifically the part that's literally right above the King's Palace. The White Palace. Yeah, it would make sense that that area looks more like the Abyss, or just because it's like a bridge as well, it leads to Deep Nest. There's just a lot of things like that where it would make sense why they would at the very least look similar. There we go. I do not like this one because I always have a hard time finding where the last group of enemies is. Even like he tried to make the argument that Queen's Garden and Green Path look the exact same. Yeah, do not get me wrong, they look very similar to each other. But Green Path and Queen's Garden, just they're objectively very clearly different areas. And the only reason why they look so similar is because they're in such close proximity to each other, and they're both parts of... How do I put it? They both spawn from, Un. In the lore, the reason why they look... If you would even look at it from a story standpoint, they're both just objectively direct, byproducts of Un. So it makes sense that they will look the same. But just in general, when I remember that specific review I seen for, like, a negative review for Hollow Knight, all I hear is this guy is bashing the game because it's not Super Metroid. The yellow and green path look different. And Soak, did you kill the little guy in the bywaters? Who? Alright, this place is now liberated. Izuhara liberated. So now, there's some stuff here, it seems. I have to get, there's stuff here's a shrine. There's stuff on this part of the island I have to clear. So yeah, I was very thorough with my first, like, comb over of this place. And there was another review I saw that, someone actually made a response video to. It was actually a review. What am I looking for? I went to the wrong place. It was actually a review for several indie games. But the guy kind of fell into the same, like, category. Like, the other guy just flat out was making, to some extent, lies about Hollow Knight in a lot of his, quote, criticisms. But this guy, it just seemed generally misguided. He didn't like the game seemingly, or he found the game boring. Which is fine, but unless you can actually... Something else just in general that I see a lot of people when they try to, quote, criticize games is they never actually give a proper criticism. They'll just say, oh, it's boring. But they'll never actually address why it's boring. Or they'll make a nonsensical criticism that once you think about it for 5 seconds, you literally cannot fathom how they might have come to that kind of conclusion by themselves. Like, for Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, there's this, I'm gonna call him what he is, he's a purist, a turbo purist who the concept of change scares him clearly, but...
There's a young man all alone out there, defending it from vandals and thieves.
Uh-huh. Master Izo's works.
Uh-huh.
This young man may need some help. It would be a shame to lose that statue to the invaders.
If you chuck vessels in the bywaters... oh yeah, I know about that. Yeah, I killed the maggots. I got their journal entry. But yeah, there's a guy there's this guy who criticizes the remakes for Final Fantasy VII, remake... Or just for... The remakes for Final Fantasy VII, sorry, is what I meant to say. But when you look at a lot of what his criticisms are, it's clear that he just cannot fathom the concept of change. For a franchise that since its inception has constantly been changing. Look at Final Fantasy 1, and then compare it to Final Fantasy 2 and 3, and then you see how different those three games are. How literally from a single game, the jump in difference from both a character design standpoint, a story standpoint, and even to some extent a game mechanic standpoint. So whenever I hear that guy's criticism for Final Fantasy VII, for Final Fantasy anything, honestly, I just get very tired, very aggravated very quickly, because he complains about how, well, first of all, it's not a Final Fantasy game unless it's turn-based. Shut up. Just shut up right there. That's not how it works. The game's been changing since the creation of it. It's just the only reason why they took so long to make the switch between, action from turn-based to action, like what a lot of the later games did, is because probably the technological limitations. That they had the ability to do what they could do in like Final Fantasy 15, 16, the 7 remakes. Maybe even if I was to really push it, like Final Fantasy 14, they probably would have. But it's just, you have to think of the technological limitations and things of that nature. That's one. Two, a lot of like For Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth specifically, the guy often he admits himself that he's bad at the combat for the game, but then he'll say the combat for the game is bad because of a design philosophy, when he himself previously admitted he sucks at it. So it's one thing to make a criticism about a game, and, you know, have your reasons for criticizing it. That's if you understand it. Like, if you play the game to, like, its completion, and then you say, I did not like the combat, that is one thing, right? At least you had, like, a grasp of the combat enough to point out something you might not like about it. It's another thing to say the combat's bad when you yourself are self-admitted as being bad at it. That's like playing a fighting game and saying the fighting game's bad when the reality is a severe skill issue on your behalf. That's two, right? And those are just some of the more recent things. And how, just in general, the guy has a very immature view on the game when it comes to certain themes and characters. Like, he'll complain about how they changed Sid in Remake, and then he'll point to certain design choices they made for him in the original game. But then you realize, oh, he only likes the old Sid because of literal edgelord reasons. Sorry, I've been talking for a minute. What's chat been saying? Final Fantasy VII doesn't look the best. Are you talking about the original? Because that's one thing. I'm shocked that the PlayStation 1 game, by today's standards, looks rough. I can't believe it. But the remakes, 16 games? Yeah, there's 16. And if you count all the spin-off games and sequels that certain other games have had, it goes into the 30s. Mad 'cause bad, yeah. Flowing breeze. The guy just has a lot of nonsensical, like, criticisms for the game, or in one of the shorts I watched, I had to pause every other second, basically. Like, every point he made in, like, that minute-long short, I had to pause and think about for, like, 5 minutes at most, just to process how bad they were. Just when you look at them from, like, a more objective standpoint. Here's the thing, I don't even have a bias towards Final Fantasy VII. I did not grow up with it. A lot of other people would have a bias for it for one reason or another, because they grew up with it. But because I did not grow up with it, I have a very objective view on the game. Both games, and I've played both of them. I guess all of them at this point. Watching overall. Hidden respite. But I also can understand the perspective of purists because I grew up with Transformers. And anyone who's ever grown up with the Transformers franchise knows that it is one of the few, if not only, games... Oh, I might have to end stream soon, actually, because I think I have an appointment soon. In like 10 minutes, actually. Gently cleansing, standing, refreshed. I don't even know how long I've been streaming for. An hour, wow. Yeah, so I'll probably at the end of the stream do that appointment and start back up stream again. Prepare to change course. A new beginning, there we go. But yeah, just because of my experience with Transformers, I'm very well versed in the ways of purism and how nostalgia bias can cloud your mind in ways that you would never even think possible. And I can tell that dude is heavily nostalgia pilled. And he is like, and just in general, the opinion of a purist is objectively bad for just the state of a game. Period. If you want your game or franchise to grow, you have to change. Look at the God of War franchise. God of War Ascension was literally an indicator, a direct indicator why change is good for a franchise. Because after God of War 3, right, they made Ascension, and they tried to keep things the same. Guess what? Everyone hated Ascension. To this day, it's regarded as one of the worst God of Wars they've ever made. And you want to know why? Because they kept trying to do the same thing when they very obviously could not, considering how they ended the story for God of War 3. So if they wanted there to be more God of War games, they had to change it. That's just an objective truth. We know what would have happened if they kept going down with like the original style of the original games. We know for a fact what would have happened. God of War Ascension would have happened, and guess what? Everyone hated it. So the Norris games had to happen, whether you like it or not. That's the first waxwood. There's actually 3 for this shrine in particular. But yeah, I am going to have to end stream because I forgot I had an appointment today. That shows you just how busy I've been. I'll probably be back in 2 hours at most. Well, it should not take that long. Like an hour, actually, at most, now I think about it. But I'm going to save right outside the shrine. I'll probably have to rename the title as well. Defensive charm, huh? But yeah, on the stream, I'll be right back. There's no need for anyone watching right now to worry. I will be back in probably in 30 minutes to an hour at most. Yeah, see you guys soon, in a minute.